Welcome to this very first edition of Studio 5 in the year 2019. Happy New Year. Rockers, Underoath, television chef Nathan Lyon, and the film Welcome to Marwen are all on tap for this show. So let's fire up the countdown and begin our look at what's new in the world of uplifting entertainment. At number 5. Singer Tori Kelly begins the new year riding a wave that began in 2018. With Grammy nominations for Best Gospel Album for her project, Hiding Place. Best Gospel Song for Never Alone. And she's the cover story for this year's first edition of Relevant magazine, sharing how making it as a pop star led her back to her gospel roots. In the interview, Kelly says, "It's just been amazing to know there is a God who knows me and cares about every little thing that I'm going through."
Just as sure as your grace is faithful even when my faith I lose.
Kelly, who planned to record a gospel single on a pop album, goes on to say, "That just makes me lean into God more, saying, I have no idea what's going on, so I have to trust you." At number 4. If you enjoyed Michael B. Jordan in Creed 2,
you in this house all alone. Who been taking care of you? Me. I've been here for you. Who else you got?
Studio 5 has news of his next act. You've been acting now since you were a kid. Do you spend much time thinking about building Michael B. Jordan's legacy?
Yeah, I spent some time thinking about that. Yeah.
You know what you want it to be, or?
I'm still building it.
In building that legacy, Jordan tackles the death penalty, playing the role of civil rights hero Bryan Stevenson. The author and attorney is the founder of the Equal Justice Initiative.
With them at eye level, and then on this quarter, they begin to rise.
And the memorial, remembering the African Americans lynched following the Civil War.
You want to leave something behind, but you don't really know exactly what it's going to be until, it's all said and done. So I'm just trying to take strides and steps in the right direction, in front of the camera and behind the camera.
Those are just the first 2 headlines in this week's countdown. We'll pick up with number 3 in just a little bit. It is now time for this week's Sit Down. The heavy metal band Underoath is up for a Grammy this year. We caught up with guitarist Tim McTague to talk about the honor, the band's breakup, the reunion, and the headlines. Heavy metal band Underoath reunites after a long hiatus with a powerful new album. It's titled Erase Me. The new album has already reached the top of the Billboard charts, with singles like Grammy-nominated On My Teeth. Underoath was best known for being identified as a Christian band, but have since shed that label, creating some controversy over this new project and the message. Lead vocalist Spencer Chamberlain opened up about his personal faith and his battle with alcohol, drug use, and depression.
I don't think there's ever really a cure for addiction. I just think we replace it, hopefully, with more positive, healthy things.
Drummer and singer Aaron Gillespie also spoke about his faith.
I'm really, really far off base from what I even socially believe and also what I spiritually believe. And now I need to figure out and pick apart what that actually is.
In the time away from Underoath, Aaron was a worship artist, but since then has stepped away from Christian music.
So did a tour with Jeremy Camp, like a 5-day tour. I thought that was the wave for me because nothing else had worked.
Tim McTague explains his own spiritual beliefs and what's behind the Erase Me album. Nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
It's pretty wild. It's the first time we've ever been nominated for a Grammy for something we did. It's definitely cool to have people paying attention.
And the performance is On My Teeth?
It is, yeah.
Tell me about that song.
The record's so different, and we haven't released a record in almost 10 years at that point, and so it's just like, what do we want to come out and be our first foot forward type song. And that one came to mind, and people really enjoyed it. Got a little bit of criticism for the lyrics, but it was expected, I guess.
The project is called Erase Me?
It is, yeah.
And would you say you threw out the rule book for the entire project?
Yeah, so like in the past, like we wrote all of our records a specific way. We just wanted to start fresh on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not that anything was ever broken, we just really wanted to try to approach everything a little bit differently and just see what else we haven't tried yet.
So you did break up, you're back together.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say the band is different than it was when you were together before? If at all?
Very different. There was a lot of, I guess, assumption that we had to believe and think on the same page. Like when we came back, like everyone has their own different ideas on morals, existence, faith, lack of.
There was a time that you guys were closely aligned or identified as Christians.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that was a big part of the stress is as people's beliefs and or lack of beliefs or loss of beliefs started to evolve. It wasn't a safe place to do that. I think that's riddled throughout the entire record. I mean, even On My Teeth, like there's 2 songs that, you know, lyrically, these dudes wanted to take a risk, and before it'd be like, we can't do that.
Where do you stand now in terms of your faith?
I would say I'm not a Christian by standard definitions, but I consider myself and call myself a Christian. I believe that my life's better when I'm trying to model my life after Jesus than when I'm not. And people are like, you literally don't think this happened? You literally don't think the world was created in 7 days? You literally don't think that Adam and Eve existed like that? But it's not that I don't think that story's true. I just think we're missing the bigger point. You know, the bigger point is whether it took 14 billion years or 7 days, is that every single cell on Earth and in this universe has a purpose, and we can all live with purpose versus living without it. So for me, like the less narratives we have, and the less agendas we have, the more the Bible can just be what it is.
In terms of the gift and art of music, for you, where does that come from and what does it mean to you?
I think Aaron, our drummer, is like naturally gifted, like God-given talent, like he came out of the womb just like ripping. The rest of us are more self-taught. It's a thing where we have to like really work at it and create disciplines, but having the ability to adapt and to become creative and have what's in your brain come out through a speaker, I think is a really special thing. And I think I would consider that a huge gift and opportunity. For music, it's like you don't have to teach anyone about music. It just is. And so that there's something really mystical and cosmic and spiritual to me about that.
You're on stage, you've got this crowd responding to what you're doing. What does that do?
It's simple and really easy on both sides. It's really easy to just get into a routine and phone it in. And then there's like, it's equally as easy, it's just a choice to be engaged and to go, this night, this moment in time will never happen again. And you now shift to like a gratitude and awareness of the gift of just life, not just music, but life. I don't really look at this as a job. It's more of like a blessing. It's insane and it's a gift and it should be cherished as such, you know?
So Underoath is back together until the people say we're finished?
I think so, or until we say we're finished.
And to see the fruit of the Underoath reunion, check out the band's new music, and you can also catch them on tour as well. Still ahead. From the farm to the fire to your dinner table, we're answering the question, what's for dinner in the new year?
God Almighty is a God of blessing. He always wants to bless His people. But how do you get that blessing? And what principles will unlock that secret?
In Miraculous Blessings, Pat Robertson shows you how to open the floodgates of God's awesome blessings in your life.
In order to have a blessing, you've got to be blessable.
Discover what the Bible has to say about God's covenant of blessing, the laws of blessing, and what are the hindrances to the blessings of God.
The words of Jesus, they are as valid as the law of gravity, and if we follow those laws, we will be blessed.
You'll see amazing true stories of everyday people whose lives were rescued and transformed by God's miraculous blessings.
But even the doctors acknowledged that this had to be a miracle.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or visit CBN.com to become a CBN partner and get miraculous blessings today.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Welcome back to Studio 5. Food is this week's bright spot, and we're getting to that right after we fire up the countdown clock and get to the next 2 headlines in uplifting entertainment. At number 3.
The first step we want to do is we want to make sure that our hand's in the right place.
Celebrity trainer Alec Pennick's Instagram page boasts some pretty big-name clients.
I knew deep down inside, I wasn't being the man that God called me to be.
And just in time for the new year, he's written and released 7 Sundays. It's a 43-day guide to help the famous and not so famous connect their faith to fitness.
What would you say to people in terms of, okay, I'm going to do this. What's the best position I must place myself in to begin this journey? How do I get ready?
To love and accept where you are right now. Just be aware that with this journey of 7 Sundays is that there are going to be days where things happen and that you may miss the mark, and that's okay. I think don't be so hard on yourself. Get right back on course.
At number 2.
Boys, get off the ice!
We're training for the Olympics, sir!
Cindy.
That's a scene from Breakthrough, one of 5 faith films to look out for in early 2019. There's also the least of these: Heavenly Deposit, Run the Race, and The Temptation of Christ.
He's been underwater for more than 15 minutes. It's gonna be a recovery, not a rescue. I got something.
Do you believe in miracles?
I do. Ooh, you're gonna get me crying.
Well, there are many things we love here in Studio 5, and one of them is food. What is for dinner? Helping us to navigate that is Chef Nathan Lyon. He is here. He is hosting the history of food. So first of all, what is for dinner?
Oh my gosh, Ephraim, what isn't for dinner, really? First of all, happy holidays.
You too.
So the interesting thing about food, I guess it depends where you're from. What's your favorite type of food? And all of that is covered in the history of food. It is an amazing, epic 5-part docu-series on Curiosity Stream that looks into the history, the science, and also the cultural impact of food throughout time. Because it wasn't really that long ago that we first started cooking with fire.
Yeah.
About 95% of our day was just looking for food. And Ephraim, think about now all the bounty of food we have at the snap of our fingers. And that is an incredible arc of the history of food.
I love it. I love it. Tell me, this is a real journey for you. What were some of the surprises on the journey to get this story to us?
You know, I think it's that what's the most personal is the most universal, and food is that thing. I think it's so beautiful that it's done in 5 parts because it's epic, for one. You start in Africa, to Asia, to Europe, but certain things really surprised me, like the spice trades. For example, pumpkin pie, one of the things we love about Thanksgiving, all the spices that we associate with pumpkin pie, like cloves and cinnamon and nutmeg, those are covered in the history of food. They don't come from the Americas. But on the flip side of that coin, when you go to, say, Italy, and you get a pizza with red sauce, I get a pasta with red sauce, Italians had never seen a tomato until before they brought them back from the Americas. And Ireland had never seen a potato until they brought them back from the Americas. It's really amazing. And my favorite part of this 5-part docuseries called The History of Food on Curiosity Stream is this one place that's 500 feet into the side of a mountain.
Wow.
It's called the Doomsday Seed Vault.
Okay.
It's amazing because it's on this remote island in the Arctic Circle, and inside that seed vault are seeds from all over the world that are remnants of the last 12,000 years of agriculture. That brings us up to the present. I haven't even touched on the future of food.
That's where I wanted to go.
I can't tell you because that's like ruining the end of a great movie.
Thank you so much, Chef. We appreciate your time.
Ephraim, my pleasure. Happy holidays.
You too.
And still to come.
What is all of this?
Welcome to Marwen. Tragedy leads to memory loss and a magical world of art.
Welcome to Marwen is an inspiring story of an artist trying to heal himself.
Learn the true story behind this major motion picture.
Parents, the Superbook Bible App is a great way to get your child reading the Bible because in today's busy world, we can use some help. The free Superbook Bible App has fun stuff your kids will love. They'll have a blast learning the Bible, playing great games, watching cool videos, discovering heroes in the Bible. They'll have fun while they learn God's Word. The Superbook Kids Bible App, available now.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
We had 4 jobs that didn't go right, but we didn't waver in our faith.
That's when God put on my heart that we needed to do the well.
Within a couple of days, we got an insurance refund check that we had no idea was coming.
And here we are, this year, it's just boom.
You go out and help other people and you get rewarded for it.
Get Pat Robertson's latest teaching, Miraculous Blessings.
Welcome back to Studio 5. We have made it to the final headline in this week's countdown. Here's your look at the #1 story in uplifting entertainment. At number 1. The new year brings new music, a new tour, and a new story of healing to the Grammy-winning rock band Switchfoot. Guitarist Jerome Fontamillis is recovering from surgery to remove cancer from one of his kidneys.
Well, what's the update there?
Tim and John Foreman shared an update with Studio 5 before the band's New Year's Eve performance.
He just had his surgery, and he is doing great. The surgery went amazing. I'm so proud of him, and he's fighting cancer. We should know more in the next few weeks as to what the next steps are. But yeah, he's doing well, and that's good news.
That wraps this week's countdown and brings us to the real-life story being shared right now on the big screen. Mark Hogenkamp is attacked, and it wipes away all memories. No one expects recovery, but he puts together pieces from his old life and his new life and meticulously creates a place where he can heal. In case you missed it, here's your look at Welcome to Marwen.
So that's the guy.
Yeah, it's right up there. 5 thugs jumped him. It's a miracle he survived.
It's a fascinating true story about Mark Hogenkamp, who having to struggle with starting his life all over with absolutely no memory of who he is.
I was a hell of a good artist, and now I can barely write my name.
Was able to take the pain of what he went through emotionally and turn it into this magnificent art.
What is all of this?
Welcome to Marwen.
Who are they?
Bad guys torturing Hoagie.
Why?
Because he's different. His battle against these Nazi figures is his way of healing from traumatic experience. And we get to see Mark's imagination come to life.
At your service, mademoiselle.
And all of these women line up as important figures in his real life. There's Anna. Duh. Carlala.
You can't keep on running away.
Julie.
We got your back.
Roberta.
Back off!
And Nicole.
I just moved in across the street in this safe space that he's created. These women of Marwen protect him. Bottoms up, girls.
And they care very much about Mark in the real world as well.
The only way you're gonna get better is if you face those jerks who beat you up.
I'm not really sure how to do this. Welcome to Marwen. It's an inspiring story of an artist trying to heal himself by creating an alter ego doll world of people who care for him in real life.
Are all of the dolls people you know?
Yeah. Everyone has a place here in Marwen.
Joanna Johnston, my longtime costume designer, designed costumes not only for the human characters, but also for the dolls.
Dolls, listen up. Here's what you gotta remember. We're here, right now. We're still alive. And that's what matters.
And of course, the fun of it was they had to evoke the real life characters, but they have to be doll clothes. Stiffer fabrics and oversized buttons and oversized zippers so they would look real. All of the doll clothes were handmade, and she did an amazing job making costumes that would blend between this imaginary world and the real world.
We had an incredible time interpreting each character into the look of the dolls, and then really exaggerated them in this fun, witty way. Trying to do it doll scale was quite difficult because every single thread and tiny, minute detail is enormous. We did a lot of subtle reflections between the human world and the doll world.
The clothes are so fun. Our characters just feel sexy and strong.
It's so colorful, it's so exciting, and it allows us to go into the mind of someone dealing with this traumatic experience.
Joanna beautifully designed these two worlds.
The inspiration for me to make this film was to figure out a way to take these doll characters in Mark's imagination and bring them to life while not losing the emotion and essence of the actor who portray them.
To create Bob's vision, we had to blend technology in a way that has never been done before. We used the body motion for the motion capture stage, the footage from our film cameras, the faces from the actors, and merged them seamlessly with these digital dolls. The result of that gets the actor's performance through to the digital character.
In this alter ego world, I am such a stud.
It's the coolest thing. We look exactly like our dolls. It's such a creative way to tell this story.
Just has never been seen before, and it allows us to go into the mind of someone dealing with this traumatic experience.
It's a very powerful story, and Bob was able to create something really magical. I have my art, and I have my friends. I have hope, and that's something they can't take away from me. To life, to love, to Marwen.
Critics are raving about Welcome to Marwen. It's in theaters right now. And coming up.
I hope y'all like my spiritual gangster sweatshirt because we're about to be talking about modesty.
Duck Dynasty's Sadie Robertson drops some knowledge in Studio 5 to jumpstart 2019 with a generous heart.
When you give, smiles grow bigger. When you care, homes are happier. When you comfort, the hurt goes away. When we all come together to love, miracles happen.
Hello, I'm Tori Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Thanks so much for sticking with us. We're almost out of time for this episode of Studio 5. So let's look into the future and see what we're working on for you for next week. Grammy-winning rock band Switchfoot topped this week's Studio 5 countdown. Now, the new project is called Native Tongue.
That's correct.
Describe it. We've heard at least one song from it. We're sitting down with brothers Tim and John Foreman to learn more about their new project, Native Tongue, their new tour, and what music means now that they've returned from their break from the business.
If you rewind the tape and slow it down, you remember that all of us came into this world naked, and that somebody, however imperfectly, woke up in the middle of the night and held us and gave us a bottle, and that these acts of love are why we're here. And so beneath it all, love is your native tongue. Your native tongue is not fear or hatred, and that's what this record's about.
Hope you'll join us for that sit down and so much more next week. But before we say goodbye, Sadie Robertson from Duck Dynasty fame is sharing an experience that changed her life and a lesson to jumpstart your year.
When I was 11 years old, I went to the Dominican Republic and I just wrecked my life, I mean, in the best way. Like, I just saw a kid my age. We actually became friends when I was 11, and we didn't speak the same language. We didn't know what each other were saying, but like we just like held each other's hand and just cried, and like it was just one of those moments that I realized like I'm just like you, and I'm in the position where I can like help you, and not only like do I help her and the financial things and stuff like that in her home, but she helps me in the aspect of life and joy, and like to me like the friendship that made when I was 11 years old, it changed the course of my life. And so now I think you have to get out of that mindset of like me, and you have to see it as like a global mindset of like we're all in this world together for a reason. And there's something so beautiful whenever you love somebody, and there's something so beautiful whenever you love somebody more than yourself.
We are indeed all in this together for a reason. Get closer and love those around you. That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5. Until next time, make time to uplift someone else. Bye-bye, everybody.